Further to the video which I hope is uploading, I have already said that my father was a Nazi, not merely in his political beliefs or his childhood brainwashing, but actively a Nazi. Yes, he was in the British Army, who saw fit to keep him in England for 2.5 years of World War II, notwithstanding that he was a young and healthy man. I think they had their suspicions. Immediately after he got back from France, where he was not at Dunkirk, he was in Brittany. Dunkirk is in Normandy. Must flash up that photograph, which he had taken in a photographer's studio in either Rennes or Brest. Dated the 12th of December 1939. Now that would be some time after the D-Day landings, granted. And his story is that he sort of escaped across France and what have you. That was the story he told me. He told my brother a very different version of the same story. Whatever, he was in France for some months, but I have him as far away as he could get from Dunkirk. And I think it not unlikely that... No, wait a minute, hang on, no. Because at that time, France was not occupied, was it? Otherwise, I would have thought he might well have made contact with Germans. Spoken to some influent German and said, "I'm with you, mate." And these deals were in fact made, with prisoners of war. They were made. After that, he only had to be a fifth columnist, i.e. played both sides. Now, of course, I cannot prove that he did that. To prove that he did that, I would have to find his name and or photograph among thousands of Nazis who were never tried, including the known British SS. Anyway, I've said over and over also that he was not running from his wife and child-to-be at the end of the war. And if he was, it would hardly have been his first move when he went back to London to go to Twickenham, and it was, and that I can prove. He gave addresses at Sandycombe Road in Twickenham and at Witten Road in Twickenham, roughly a mile or two from Enid. And he did know that she was there still, and that Karen was there still. And his first port of call the minute he went back to London was Twickenham. Enid, Karen, 886 Crossroad, his goal. He never wanted to lose them. My mother was his passport out of a situation in which he could have been called to account for whatever he did in fact do in World War II. But there are other little puzzles, i.e. she had the eyes of two different colours, which so fascinated Mengele and my father. Do not believe that it was pure chance that he met her. She had so much that he wanted, but so did Enid. So did Enid. Of course, raping her was just the kind of thing that he did. He apparently was known as a wild young man. My mother did tell me that. Whatever are you doing with that wild young man? Well, she found out too late that her taste for adventure was unwise. Sounds like victim blaming, but you know, some things are unwise. You know, I mean, you don't walk into the path of an oncoming train unless you're suicidal, do you? That is unwise. So, I then come to my timeline again, which I didn't cover adequately just now, but have, I think, in the past. And I'm doing it from memory, and I have to say my memory is slipping a little lately, due, I hope, to extreme stress and not some sort of incipient Alzheimer's. On the 2nd of June, my mother, in the name of Amelia Noyes, gave birth to a baby called Albert. That's the first date I have. I actually think that the next date I have was, in fact, the 11th of July, the day I am now absolutely certain my mother and father were supposed to get married. But it didn't happen. And the next date I have is the 18th of July, when Albert's birth was registered. After that, I have the 22nd of July, when my father's daughter by his wife Enid was registered. And after that, I have the 13th of August, when baby Albert died. On the 2nd of September, it's a bit of a shock. On the 2nd of September, the hospital occupier registered Albert's death. Neither the mother nor the father did. But by that time, my mother and father were in Coventry, where he followed her.